He is turning the small box in his hands when the light shifts slightly across the table. The lid is closed. His thumb rests on the edge, not pressing, just feeling where the hinge begins. He turns it once, then back again. The motion is slow, familiar already. The room is ordinary, quiet in a way that feels temporary. The small box sits against his palm like it belongs there. He sets it down, not far, just enough to see it from a short distance. The lid remains shut. The line where it opens is thin and precise. He adjusts it so it is straight with the edge of the table. Then he nudges it slightly out of alignment. He waits. The air carries the soft weight of something about to happen, though nothing has happened yet. A chair across from him remains pulled in, untouched. The space between the chair and the table is narrow, measured. He looks at the box again. His fingers hover over it, but do not lift the lid. He presses his palm flat against the table instead, as if steadying himself against something that hasn't arrived. The small box has weight, more than it should. He picks it up once more, bringing it closer to his chest this time. Not opening it, just holding it there, feeling the shape through his grip. The edges press lightly into his skin. He exhales. Outside, a sound passes by and fades. It does not return. He places the box back down, closer than before. Close enough that his knuckles brush against it when his hand relaxes. The lid remains closed. His hand stays there beside it. He does not move for a while. Something is already narrowing, though he cannot see where it leads. He keeps the small box in his jacket pocket now. Not deep inside, just near enough that his fingers can find it without looking. He walks a little slower than usual. Not enough for anyone to notice. Just enough to give himself more space between one step and the next. His hand slips into the pocket. He feels the smooth surface through the lining. The box presses back, steady and unchanged. He takes it out once, only to check that it is still there. The lid remains closed. He places it on the table again, this time farther from him, almost near the edge. He watches it as if distance might make the decision clearer. The small square shape looks harmless from that angle. Smaller, even. He pulls it closer again. He adjusts the chair across from him, widening the space slightly, then narrowing it back. The empty chair holds its place without protest. He touches the lid with 2 fingers. Not enough to lift, just enough to feel the seam. Time moves in quiet increments. A glance toward the door. A breath drawn in and held too long. A swallow that comes late. The box returns to his pocket. He stands, then sits again. He tells himself there is still a moment left. Another minute, another breath before anything has to be decided. The thought settles gently, almost reasonable. His hand rests over the pocket now, covering the outline as if to hide it from view. The pressure of his palm flattens the fabric, but the shape is still there beneath it. A shadow crosses the doorway. He looks up. For a second, He considers reaching in, pulling the small box out, placing it on the table before the air changes. He does not move. The shadow shifts. Steps continue past. The room returns to its earlier quiet. His hand remains over the pocket, holding something that has not yet been opened. He places the small box on the table again. This time, he does not align it with the edge. He lets it sit slightly crooked, one corner pointing toward the empty chair. His fingers rest on either side of it, not touching the lid. The room feels smaller now. Not physically, just in the way air seems to settle lower. He hears footsteps outside the doorway, slower than before, pausing, then moving again. He slides the box a few inches closer. The hinge faces him. His thumb presses lightly against the seam. There is a brief resistance, the quiet promise that it will open if he applies a little more pressure. He waits. A chair scrapes somewhere beyond the room. A low murmur of voices rises and fades. The sounds do not enter fully. They remain distant, as if separated by glass. He imagines the lid lifting, not the inside, just the motion, the small shift from closed to open. A simple act. His thumb moves, then stops. The footsteps return, this time closer, slowing near the doorway. The air changes slightly, carrying the faint trace of someone passing by. He looks up. There's a silhouette for half a second, familiar in outline. Then the movement continues. The shadow stretches across the floor and disappears. He stands abruptly, the chair legs scraping against the floor. The box remains on the table. He takes one step toward the doorway, then another. The hallway is empty by the time he reaches it. He stays there longer than necessary, looking in the direction the footsteps went. The sound is gone now, swallowed by distance. When he returns to the table, the small box is exactly where he left it, slightly crooked, unopened. He stares at it. The moment that had been hovering in front of him feels thinner now, as if it has already slipped past without making a sound. His hand lowers slowly onto the lid. It is warm from earlier, but the room no longer holds the same pause. He sits down again. The chair across from him remains empty, pushed slightly back now, as if someone had almost taken it and then changed their mind. The small box is still on the table, crooked, closer to the center than before. He does not straighten it. His hand rests beside it, not over it. The distance between his fingers and the lid is small enough to close with a single movement. He keeps that distance. Voices pass somewhere far off. Laughter that is not slow. Footsteps that do not hesitate. He reaches for the box. This time he lifts it. The weight is the same as before. The edges press into his palm the same way. Nothing about it has shifted. The hinge is still firm beneath his thumb. He turns it once in his hand, then once more. The room no longer feels like it is holding anything open. The air has settled back into itself. Ordinary. Unmarked. He opens his mouth slightly, as if testing a word. No sound follows. The lid remains closed. He brings the small box closer to his chest again, the way he did earlier, but the gesture feels different now. Not protective, not urgent, just contained. He lowers it slowly. Instead of placing it at the center of the table, he slides it toward the far edge. Not near enough to fall, just far enough that he would have to lean forward to reach it. He does not lean forward. His hands fold together in front of him, leaving the box alone. The chair across from him is pushed in now, fully. The space between the table and the doorway feels wider. He watches the small box from where he sits, as if it belongs to another version of him who moved faster. After a while, he reaches out, not to open it, but to turn it so the hinge faces away. Then he lets his hand fall back to his lap. The lid stays closed. Not every opportunity disappears. Some simply do not return. Quietly. Without warning. If you have ever thought, I should have acted then, this story may have reached you.